Hello and welcome to the very first edition of WrestleScope on YouTube. I'm John Kurizawa. If you've come over here from TikTok or from Instagram or from Twitter, thank you very much for jumping in here. Got a brand new video here. We are less than 24 hours away at the time of this recording of Clash of Champions for WWE, and these are going to be my more detailed predictions. On TikTok, I went ahead and did my 60-second prediction, but I want to go a little bit more into detail of what I think is going to happen at the pay-per-view, especially with a couple of really key matchups. First of all, if you have not followed me on TikTok, I'll have it listed in the banner description here. You can find me at WrestleScope TV on TikTok. You can also follow me at TV_Wrestle on Twitter, and on Instagram it is at WrestleScope TV. Also going to have information on my Amazon wish list. Going to be setting up a Patreon account as we get going with this as well, and going to be doing much better with the videos here. Trust me, this is the very first one, so things are going to improve. And I'm going to throw this plug out real quick. I'm being powered today. They are not a sponsor, but I'm hoping that these guys at G Fuel will become a sponsor eventually. This one is the Tropical Rain. So hopefully we could get G Fuel to be a sponsor of WrestleScope. So here we go. Clash of Champions. Every main roster title is on the line in this pay-per-view. And quite honestly, there's only 2 or 3 matches out of this 9-match card that I'm really excited about, really interested in. Very surprised that on the kickoff show, the first title on the line is going to be the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka taking on the now #1 contender, Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega, who obviously had been the longtime manager of Andrade and Angel Garza. And all of that ended up falling apart, and I'm going to talk about those two in just a little while. But suddenly Zelina Vega becoming the #1 contender by knocking off Mickie James this past Monday. I really do not see this being a ultra competitive match. I mean, Asuka is just so much of a better wrestler than Zelina Vega. This is no knock on Zelina at all, but she was thrown into this, and I don't know if this is going to be a long-term program or what's going to happen. I think right now the Raw Women's division is really just kind of, it's a crapshoot, is the best way to put it. It's a crapshoot right now. Asuka's going to retain. I see this going maybe 7 to 8 minutes at the most. Zelina will get a little bit of offense in, but I really don't see anything spectacular coming out of this match. We move on to the main card, and the first of multiple matches that seem to just, this is version 17 of this match, the U.S. title match. It's going to be Bobby Lashley of the Hurt Business, the current United States champion, taking on the former champion, Apollo Crews. At this point, I really can't see Bobby Lashley losing the title. The only way I see it happening is if we see some interference from Retribution. Now, we have not seen Retribution on pay-per-view. They weren't at SummerSlam. I can't remember if they were at the pay-per-view prior to that. I don't think they were. So I see Bobby Lashley retaining this title and hopefully moving on to a different feud with somebody else. No offense to Apollo Crews, but this is one of many feuds that have just been going on and on for months and really don't seem to be going anywhere. Speaking of feuds that have been going on forever and ever, the Raw Tag Team titles, the champions, the Street Profits, who have held the titles for well over 200 days, taking on Andrade and Angel Garza, a team that seemingly broke up 2 weeks ago. And Angel Garza has been in, I don't know how many, the last number I saw, he has been with 2 different people battling the Street Profits since going back to WrestleMania. This is the 8th or 9th time that these teams have gone on for these titles. This has gone on way too long. Now, maybe it's because the Viking Raiders are not a tag team right now with Ivar's serious injury, which could keep him out for up to a year. They really haven't built up another tag team on the Raw side outside of Seth Rollins and Murphy, and we don't know where that's going right now either. But I see a surprise here. there have been rumors flying around about Melina coming back to the WWE. And I see that, I see Andrade and Angel Garza winning the titles with some help from a returning Melina who will become their manager. Now, what is that going to mean for Zelina Vega? Is there going to be maybe a little bit of animosity and heat between Melina and Zelina Vega? I would love to see that as a potential feud between those two, because I really liked what Melina did in her short time in the NWA. I thought she did some really fantastic things both on the mic and in the ring, and I see her bringing that and her experience back. So I see the first title change of the night being the Raw Tag Team titles. Then we move on to the Triple Threat Ladder match for the Unified, Undisputed Intercontinental Championship. This has been a feud that has just driven me nuts. I liked AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy and playing in with the knee brace and Jeff Hardy using the knee brace to his advantage. Me personally, I'm not a fan of Sami Zayn. I haven't been, even going back to when he was in NXT. Just his gimmick and everything, it drives me nuts. And now with everything he's got going on now, looking like I'm trying to remember what I described him as on TikTok 2 weeks ago, looking kind of like a homeless guy in wrestling gear. I just don't like where this storyline is going. And it sounds like AJ Styles is going to be moving to Raw very soon. It's either going to be in the draft, which is supposed to be coming up before Survivor Series, or a little bit sooner. So I do not see AJ Styles picking up the win here. One rumor I've heard, and I've heard it from multiple different people, I think Brian Zayn from Wrestling with Regret and the guys over at Wrestle Talk, who I absolutely love, will promote those guys to the ends of the earth. I think they both mentioned that they see, it could have been on Sportskeeda too, that they see Sami and Jeff each getting a title, because the way they've described it is the winner of the match needs to pull down both belts. Now, traditionally, when you've had this situation, you've been able to pull down that clip that has the two belts and pull that down, not the individual belts. But this is going to be a situation where one guy, they're going to probably have two ladders up, or guys on each side of the ladder. One guy will grab one belt, one guy will grab the other belt. They'll both come down at the same time, and this is going to continue this feud. I really hope that doesn't happen. I do not want to see this feud with Sami Zayn and Jeff Hardy continue, because again, I'm just not a fan of Sami Zayn. I've got it picked. They just have made this push for Jeff Hardy. There's talks about his old theme coming back, and just giving him a really good run in what is probably his final WWE contract. I can't see them pulling the belt off of him quite yet. They've still got storyline to develop here, so I see Jeff Hardy retaining, but I wouldn't be surprised if something really bizarre happens here. Another one of those matches that I really don't care about, and sadly it's in the tag team division. It's the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. It's Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro, the current SmackDown Tag Team Champions, taking on the Lucha House Party. I'm not sure which two of the three it's going to be. I'm done with this feud. I really am. It's very obvious Kalisto is going to be turning heel on his tag team partners, Lince Dorado and Gran Metalik. It's probably going to be Metalik and Dorado in this title match. Who knows? I haven't heard. I'm done with this story. I really am. Please build up somebody new. I see it being Cesaro and Shinsuke retaining. What I wish they would have done here, and they should have done it because they teased it a couple of weeks ago, have a tag team title unification match. You teased it, one match between Nakamura and Cesaro and the Street Profits. Unify the belts, have just one tag team belt going back and forth between the two brands, and you could build up the tag team division. Having brand specific tag team titles just doesn't make sense at this point in time unless you're planning on bringing up some other teams, and I really don't see them doing that. Maybe they'll put some Franken teams together again until we get the Usos and the New Day back. New Day should be coming up pretty soon. It sounds like Kofi and Xavier Woods are both ready to go. So maybe that's the lead-in for Survivor Series, as you get the New Day back they take on Shinsuke and Cesaro for the tag team titles. I'd love to see that. That would be fun. But it's going to be Cesaro and Nakamura retaining. Speaking of tag team titles, and another one that I really don't care about, but out of the 3 tag team title matches, this is probably the one I'm most interested in. You've got the newly reunited Riot Squad, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, taking on the Franken team, another Franken team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I am really hoping that the Riot Squad wins this because I'm just not a fan of Nia Jax. I never have been. I don't like her as a wrestler. I don't like her as a character. I don't think she's very good in the ring. There have been the multiple reports of her being reckless and hurting people, and she's been called out on that. Not a big fan, and I want to see Shayna Baszler get a singles run. She needs to be the one that is the next big marquee challenger for Asuka. Not toiling in this stupid feud and this useless tag team with Nia Jax. I want to see the Riot Squad win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a retention. But my prediction is going to be Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan winning the tag team titles. SmackDown Women's title match, Bayley, the champion, versus Nikki Cross. Again, this is another one I've heard multiple people say, oh yeah, Nikki Cross is going to win. It's going to be a surprise. Sasha Banks is going to come back and cost Bayley the title. Nope, not going to happen. I actually would not be surprised if we do not even see Sasha Banks in the Thunderdome at this match. It's going to be, one-on-one wise, this actually could be one of the better one-on-one matches. The other rumor that has been going around has been Alexa Bliss with, this turn with the Fiend with her is going to come out and cost her best friend Nikki Cross the title, or she's going to help Nikki Cross win, and then that puts Alexa Bliss as the number 1 contender for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I don't see it happening. Not time yet to take the belt off of Bayley. Not going to happen quite yet. Maybe Alexa Bliss will be the next challenger for Bayley. I'd like to see that going into Survivor Series, but Bayley is going to retain. In the match that I don't think anybody is dissenting on this one, Jey Uso challenging for the Universal title match. This is the match out of everything, even though we pretty much all 99.9% are positive that Roman Reigns is going to win. I'm most excited to see this match because we saw it at the end of SmackDown just how much this title means to Roman Reigns. What lengths he will go to continue to feed his family, as he put it, on SmackDown. And what is he going to do to his blood to retain this title? And it's going to open the door to show if he can do this to his family, to his bloodline, what is he going to do to somebody else that challenges him for the title? Roman Reigns, without a doubt, will retain. Jey will get some offense in. This is going to be Brock Lesnar, John Cena, 17 German suplex at SummerSlam level of destruction by Roman Reigns. We are going to see the full level of Roman Reigns heel that we can see in this match. And again, rumors that he could be debuting a new theme song and some new ring gear. I'll be interested to see. I kind of like him coming out just in the t-shirt though, and the black, still the black pants that he's worn for a long time, looking badass with Paul Heyman. But I got to tell you, I said it on TikTok on Friday night immediately after SmackDown went off the air. Roman Reigns is the top heel, if not in WWE, in the world of professional wrestling right now. After what happened Friday night, he is going to retain. And finally, I don't think this is going to be the main event, but maybe it will be the main event. It's the ambulance match for the WWE title. Drew McIntyre defending his title against the Viper Randy Orton. This is the one I'm having the hardest time going back and forth on, because it was rumored that Randy Orton was going to win the title last month, and he didn't. That he was going to get his 14th title. That they're setting up for Orton Edge at WrestleMania. That they're going to give him a title run. Personally, excuse me, I don't think it's time to take the title off of Drew McIntyre yet. There's still a lot more he can do. this has been an entertaining feud, but I think it's still gone on a little bit too long. It really has. And now you've added Keith Lee into the mix. This poor guy, after having a very short run as the NXT champion, calling him up, and in 6 matches that he's had on the main roster, 4 of them finished in no contest or DQs. They've changed his music. They've changed his ring gear a couple times. I don't know. A lot of talk that Randy Orton is going to win this one. I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to say it's going to be Drew McIntyre, because keep in mind, an ambulance match, the only way you win is by putting your opponent, into an ambulance, shutting the door, which means no DQ, no countout, anything goes, no holds bar, and somebody can get involved. I expect to see Keith Lee make an appearance in this match, because you know what, they built it up so much. You know, he had back-to-back weeks of matches with Drew McIntyre. He's had the feud with Randy Orton. He's got something to prove. He's going to get involved in this match at some point in time. Maybe not in the finish, but he will be involved. And I see Drew McIntyre retaining the title, which means we could end up seeing a triple threat match at Survivor Series, which is 2 months away still. I believe, and I'm going to look it up while we're talking right now, I'm going to look it up what the next pay-per-view for WWE is. I want to say it's Hell in a Cell, but I could be wrong. If that's the case, we could see a Hell in a Cell match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, which I really want to see. I really want to see them kind of wrap up this feud soon. But if they take the belt off of McIntyre and give it to Orton, what is the next? What's the next feud going to be for Drew McIntyre? What's going to happen there? Where is he going to end up going? And I'm trying to see here. Things are not coming up very quickly. Oh, here we go. WWE pay-per-view schedule. Date subject to change. Da-da-da. We've got summer. Okay, this is obviously a really old one because it's got stuff that isn't listing right. I should probably just go to WWE.com. WWE pay-per-views. The pay-per-view schedule. And it's still not giving me schedule. Oh, how frustrating is this? Yeah, it's giving me all the stuff from the network, which is not what I want. WWE.com. Shows. Here we go. That's not it either. Tickets, maybe? Interesting thing to note here, and I don't know how accurate this is, they have live events now that are listed on the WWE website as far as tickets for sale that you can go to. Very interesting. Including NXT on the road, which I'm kind of surprised by that. Okay, I can't find the information, unfortunately. So we're just going to go with it. I want to say it's Hell in a Cell in October, which could be interesting. But again, going back to it, Drew McIntyre going to retain. Keith Lee is going to get involved. Now, for the last two pay-per-views, last two WWE pay-per-views, I've gone 6-2 on my predictions. I would not be surprised if I go under 500 on this one, because I was kind of all over the place with these, not really happy with them, but we'll see what happens. So that's a little bit more detailed version of everything. I will have reaction on TikTok tomorrow night after Clash of Champions. Quick reaction on things. As far as this channel, we'll see what ends up happening. May just do a weekly, once a week kind of a podcast style thing talking about what happened in the world of wrestling that week. Right now, I'm going to keep it to WWE and NXT because, quite honestly, I'm not watching enough of AEW. If I get back into watching AEW a little bit more, I will start doing some things on here as well. But definitely going to have some content going on here. Going to have a better background and maybe some graphics and things like that as we get going. Hopefully going to be doing some live things as well. Working on getting YouTube Live all set up. So that is it. Would love to hear your predictions. Go ahead and put them in the comments here, what your predictions are going to be, and we'll see where we end up being. Thank you very much for tuning into this very first episode of WrestleScope on YouTube. Thank you. Enjoy the show on Sunday night. It could be an entertaining one. If they book it right, this actually could be a very entertaining pay-per-view. But on paper, I'm looking at it as probably a 3 out of 5 show. 2.5, maybe a 3 out of 5. Hopefully I'll be wrong. Have a great night. Enjoy the wrestling.